Greetings, sports fans. We are the Sports Kings from Queens. I'm Gino, joined by my co-hosts Kevin and Darren. Today's Wednesday, May 14th. This is episode 169. Please catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. Give us a look, join our pages, leave us some comments. We'll get back to you. Tonight we go around the world of sports. We got NHL playoffs, baseball news. We got the Preakness, golf. But we got to start it off with the team that's taking New York by storm right now. They're generating mass fan appeal. It's the New York Knicks. We left last Wednesday. The Knicks had just beaten the Celtics in Game 2 to go up 2-0. Since then, they've played 2 more games, and they're playing tonight. Game 3 Saturday, Boston beat New York 115-93. Game 4 was Monday night. We'll talk about that in 2 secs. Kev, let's start it with Saturday night where New York lost.
Well, they fell behind by 25 instead of 20, and they never recovered.
Sounds like a Knicks game.
And Boston shot 20 for 40. I mean, that's as simple as that. They hit their threes that they didn't hit. I mean, they were, 25 for 100 games 1 and 2. They're 20 for 40.
Yeah.
Win. Period. I mean, nothing more to say about that game.
Yep.
Game 4, they come back, typical Knicks. They were down by 14 in the third quarter with 9:06 left. They ended the quarter 30-13 run, 18 by Brunson in that stretch. I mean, he just took over that team. He said, no, we're winning this game. I'm going to lead us. There was back and forth for most of the fourth quarter. Knicks led by 105-104 with 5:22 left. Then they had the 8-0 run, which was capped by the play where Tatum wound up turning out to be rupturing the Achilles. I mean, the game was over by then. I mean, that had nothing to do with the rest of the game. I mean, the Knicks had put that game away. They were up 113-104 at that point.
Yeah, it's 9. It's 9 when he goes down. So
9 with about 2 minutes left, and the Knicks were hot. So no impact on that game. But again, third time in 4 games, the Knicks had to come back. They did. And now going into game 4 here, they're down 15 going into the fourth. They're going to have to do this again. I mean, how many times can you freaking do this?
It's unbelievable. We keep seeing the same game plan from this Knicks team. And it's not a Knicks playoff game, I guess, unless they're down by at least a dozen. It's not a Knicks playoff game. But listen, Monday night was just complete chaos at the Garden. After the game, it was complete chaos. The fans are going crazy. Listen, the loss of Tatum now is it's horrible from a basketball standpoint. Don't get me wrong. The kid is now going to miss another 15 months. So, it's a horrible injury.
He's out the entire year next year.
Absolutely. But on the other side, we'll get to it in a couple of minutes, but Indiana took out Cleveland, and if the Knicks are going to try to get to the championship game this year, this is the route. I mean, it can't have opened up any better for them. Darren?
No. Yeah. I mean, listen, like you said, Kev, game 3 was you never had to watch it. They were never in it. You didn't miss it. Saturday afternoon. You know what? I got other things to do. They're getting blown out. I tuned out. Game 4, I thought Bridges was really big in that second half. He kind of found himself with that mid-range shot, that mid-range fadeaway. And after a slow start, he really came on. Cat, not good from 3, but he was really good inside the paint as well. So I thought the contributions were great. Mitchell not getting fouled or they weren't in the penalty. Let him be on the floor a little bit longer. It certainly helps him out. Listen, you feel bad for Tatum, classy player. He's not a guy that you would root against. He's not a guy that you just don't like. He's a good, solid player. But the fact of the matter is, you knew it as soon as Brown made that turnover that he was going to dribble it. That when he kind of made that lunge and went down and stayed down non-contact, you knew it was the Achilles, and you just felt bad for him. Now,
one of the few Dookies we actually can stomach.
He's only there 1 year,
it's so rare.
As is tonight, they're just being outworked. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that the Knicks are playing completely poorly. Boston's just playing harder, I think. You get early foul trouble. I hate this reversal of foul calls in this sport. I hate the random foul call that doesn't get called, and then the next time down they do call it. I just think that this is the worst officiated sport there is right now, and that says a lot compared to the other sports. It's not like we think football is well officiated, G, and it's not like we think every umpire in baseball is doing a great job, Kev. I mean, it's just that this is just more random. I mean, when they feel like blowing the whistle, they blow it. When they don't, they don't. But you're right, G. This is the path. You have a chance to be the home team in the Eastern Conference Final. Now, you didn't expect them to win 3 games in Boston.
I agree.
But
no.
After they won the first 2, now you did expect them to win the 3rd game here in Boston. But now you got to come back from a 20-point deficit in the 4th quarter, which seems like it's a bit much. And, all of a sudden the pressure will now go right back to the Knicks for Game 6 because, I don't know if the Knicks have ever won a Game 7 in Boston. I think they won a Game 5. I don't think they've ever won a Game 7. I think it was a 5-game series when they won one once. But I don't think they've ever won a 7. But I'd have to look that up. But, yeah, not, I don't know. We needed them to play hard tonight. They're not going to get it done most likely, and they're going to have to win Game 6.
It's funny the way you phrase it because that's exactly how I was thinking about it earlier today, which is, after Game 1, we said, "Wow, what a victory!" Can they get it to 6 games? Maybe they can push it to 6. They win Game 2, and you're like, "All right, now it has to go for me to enjoy this at all." If they're going to lose, it's got to be Game 7 after you're up 2-0. I can't take anything else worse than that. Fine. They lost Game 3. It's 2-1. And then Monday they win Game 4. And at the end of that game, only a couple minutes left, Tatum goes down. You wind up winning the game. You're up 3-1. And now it's the other extreme. Now it's, okay, you can't lose the series now.
No, you can't.
Up 3-1. You have to win this freaking game. This is it.
Yeah, this is still the same garden of Bill Russell and Havlicek and Bird and McHale and Parrish and Cousy and all these greats.
Even without Tatum, I'm not saying this is an easy road, but if you're the Knicks at that point, now you're up 3-1. It's like, okay, now we have to win this series now.
Yeah,
if you don't win this series, now we have a problem. Okay, here we go. Right, and if you do win the series, now the next step is okay. Now you're going to be home against the Pacers, and we're all going to look at that and go, if that's what happened, we're all going to look at this and go, all right, listen, I can't take this going down 20 every game. If you got to win, if you're going to get to the actual play for the championship, you got to come out and play. And tonight, they're getting outworked. There's fouls all over the place. Boston's shooting pretty well from what I can see, but they got to get this done. Kev?
Yeah, you can't go back to Boston Game 7.
Nope.
I mean, plain and simple. Boston. I mean, you kind of one hand the number of times Boston has lost a Game 7 at home, and anything less than winning this series and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And maybe at this point, anything less than a trip to the NBA Finals might be very disappointing as a season.
I don't think we're very far from that conclusion, Kev. I have to tell you. I mean, I don't like the way we started this 4th quarter down 15. Now I think we're down 22 at this point. But I have to be exactly with you on this, which is you guys got to get there now. This is it. The door's open. This is it.
And the problem is they started off tonight. They're second quarter. They were up 42-33 was their biggest lead, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they had everything going their way tonight. They just couldn't put the foot on the neck when they had Boston down. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, they're just showing the replays. Brunson's ankle. That's something to watch.
Yeah.
I tell you, they're down 22. You're down 22.
Pull them.
Boy, I'd pull them.
Yeah, you don't play.
I'd pull all the starters now.
Tibbs won't.
Oh, I know.
All right, so we'll keep you updated as we go through with the Knicks. The other Eastern Conference, Indiana takes out Cleveland 4-1. I'll give you where we are, and then we can go back. Oklahoma City is up 3-2 on Denver, and Minnesota's up 3-1 on Golden State. Game 5 later tonight. Kev, talk to me about the rest of the series this year.
Yeah, so Indy real quick. Game 3, Cleveland got their win 126-104. Mitchell with 43. Big game there. Indy came back with a win at home in Game 4, 129-109. This was 80-39 at halftime.
Never
ridiculous.
I mean, how is an NBA playoff game? How are you down 41 points at halftime?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. In the Game 5, they pulled it off. They won 114-105. That really wasn't that close either. Halliburton had 31.
Yeah, just a quick point. I mean, Indiana stole Game 2. Outside of that, they were a better team in the series. And you know what the thing about Indiana is, and we're dismissing them like, oh, the Knicks should just glide to the title. I mean, Indiana has 6 guys. Any one of those 6 guys can lead this team in scoring on any given night. Between Halliburton and Nembhard and Turner and Siakam and Mathurin and Nesmith, they can all score. They can all put it in. They're very balanced. There's no one to key on, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad. And Indiana was just better than – I know Cleveland's banged up, injuries. But you know what? You can't apologize for injuries. You win the games you're supposed to win. Indiana did the same thing last year to the Knicks. They made it all the way to the final. They played Milwaukee without Lillard. Who cares? They won the games. Indiana's getting back to the same exact step they were last year. To them, they think they should be moving to the next level, just like we think the Knicks should as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Then for OKC, when we left last week was 1-0. OKC came back, blew out Denver Game 2. They were up 31 at halftime in Game 2. Never a game. Game 3 was the best game of the series. Went into overtime. Denver 11-2 run in overtime to win by 9. Game 4, OKC, defensive slog here, 92-87. I mean, this was reminiscent of Knicks 90s basketball. I mean, it was 17-8 after the first quarter.
That's crazy.
And then, they were OKC was down after the third. They outscored Denver 29-18 in the fourth. Outscored by 11 to win by 5 there. And then Game 5, they used another big fourth quarter, 34-19 to win by 7. So they've been outplaying Denver in the fourth quarter so far this series. Game 5, Shai had 31. Jokic has struggled a bit this series. He finally broke out in Game 5, 44-15-5. But he struggled a bit. I think he was 0 for 10 in one of the games earlier in the series. But OKC has just been able to outlast them and really dominate the fourth quarters in these games.
Yeah, Jokic, he had 42, I think, in Game 1, and then 44 last game, or vice versa. Outside of that, it's been a little bit more of a struggle. I find the OKC team hard to watch. I feel like they get a benefit of a lot of calls. I listen, it's okay. I mean, they're a good team, but SGA is a master flopper. He's really good at it. My goodness.
He's learned from LeBron.
Oh my God, he's really good at it. He initiates all the contact. Jokic gets his share too. Don't get me wrong. The Westbrook SGA battles are really good actually to watch. Westbrook actually, no matter what his age is, he can still D up on you.
Yep.
And listen, I expect Denver to win Game 6. I expect the series to go to 7, and I think that's kind of interesting for us here as we go forward. But every game except Game 2 has been really good. It could have gone either way. I mean, Denver stole Game 1. OKC blew it late. Outside of OKC's blowout in Game 2, it's been nip and tuck.
And then the other series, Golden State got Game 1. Curry got hurt. He's been out the last 3, and Minnesota's taking advantage. They've won 117-93, 102-97, and 117-110. And that Game 4, they led by 20 after 3. I mean, that final score by 7 was nowhere indicative. They were up by 21 with 5 minutes left still.
Julius Randle has been ridiculous in that series.
Yeah.
He's been
31 the other night. Ant Edwards is back-to-back 30-point games.
Problem for Golden State in this series is that just Butler's not a selfish offensive player, and he can't take it over offensively, and you can't just rely on Buddy Hield, to be a guy that kind of gets you where you're going, or Kuminga, any of these guys. Without Curry, they're lost. And
they've got Draymond to lead them, don't they?
Draymond, yeah, we're gonna get into him in a second. They just can't keep up. And as good as Hield has been, better than I expected, and Butler does a lot of solid things. I'd be stunned if Minnesota doesn't close him out tonight with Curry still not playing. They had said maybe 2 games. Now it's going to be 4 games he hasn't played. Minnesota's just better. And I think Minnesota, looks like Minnesota OKC and the dream matchup the networks were praying for. It's 2 good young players. You get Edwards and you get SGA. So a lot of good young players, but those 2 being the stars.
Yeah, they'll hype up those 2 players, no doubt about it.
And they should. So just on Draymond Green, he came out with his nice big statement that they want to make me into an angry black man. I got to be honest. I genuinely don't think it's a race thing. He's just a dirty player.
Yeah.
Nobody wants you to be an angry black man, white man, any man. Stop playing dirty. When
you're an angry man.
Game, you try to get yourself thrown out so you're not part of the loss. I mean, you're a disgrace. You're a smart player. Listen, I've never seen a player luckier for where he got drafted than Draymond Green. Yeah. He's going to be a Hall of Famer for a guy that if he ended up going to Washington 2 picks earlier, would have been out of the league in 3 years because all he could do was play defense and had no offensive skill game. He just happened to be the guy that grabbed rebounds and covered the post while Steph and Clay and all the rest of the guys were shooting threes. And, listen, I'm not trying to diminish his career, but he ended up in a good spot for him. I just think he's one of the dirtier players in the league. I just didn't understand where that statement came from. Personal opinion.
All right. And Monday night, the NBA drew their draft order for next year, for this year. Mavericks wind up with the number 1 pick, had a 1.8% chance, and they landed the number 1 spot. The Spurs and the Sixers also moved up, so they're the 2 and the 3. Everybody moved down. Listen, I hate saying that this is collusion in any way, but I don't know how many more of these over the years we're going to see without, it's crazy. It really is crazy. 2011, Kyrie winds up in Cleveland, sets it up for LeBron going back. 2012, NBA owned the Hornets. They veto the CP3 trade. It goes through, and then they find a buyer finally, and lo and behold, they wind up with the number 1 pick. It's Anthony Davis. I don't want to keep going back, but 2019, New Orleans, they trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and by the way, they wind up with the number 1 pick, and they get Zion. It's just like, how many of these do we have to see where something, and listen, I don't want to just say it's the Lakers, but, 2 of these involve the Lakers, 2 of these involve LeBron. I mean,
and 2 involve the Pelicans. Anyway.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the question, though, I have for you guys. Do you like the lottery?
Yes.
Because it works. Nobody's tanking. When a 1.8% chance team wins, yes, this is rigged. There's no way it's not rigged. There's no way that every time somebody loses a big-time player, they're lucky enough to get the next great star the next year. There's no way it happens every time. Happens once, big deal. Happens twice, wow. The odds are infinitesimal for the amount of things that have happened, based on the Cavs winning after LeBron leaves and the Pelicans after the CP3 trade thing and the AD trade and the Luka trade. It's impossible for all 4 of these things to work out perfectly. Impossible. And then for the Knicks to get Ewing back in the day, it's impossible for all this stuff to happen. Let's be honest. But overall, the idea of the lottery is great because now it forces teams not to tank because now I have a shot to win it. So I do enjoy it. It's just Marona me. It's a little too convenient here for me.
I mean, a couple of points from there. The Spurs, like you said, moving up from 8 to 2. They also have the 14th. So Wemby's going to get his help. And that's another team that, they lose Popovich. I don't know if we really touched on it last week. He's officially retiring from head coaching.
Yep.
The health issues have gotten him. I know he's your favorite coach.
Well, listen, you feel bad for anyone that's had a stroke, but at the same point in time, he kind of ruined the NBA.
And
He
then the Jazz
contributed,
fell.
so I don't like him at all. No.
Jazz fell from 1 to 5, and the Nets fell 2 slots to 8. They also have 3 other picks. They've got the 27th from Houston, the 26th from the New York Knicks, and one of my favorites, the 19th from the Knicks, Detroit, Portland, and New Orleans via Milwaukee.
Listen, even though they're not the greatest picks in the world, they're going to be able to build a nucleus with that.
Yeah. Whether they package a couple of them to move up or they draft 4 players, they can draft some of these foreign European type players and stash them for another year or two, let them develop in Europe. They've got their options here.
They do. And they get an early second rounder as well.
You sure the Sports Kings from Queens wasn't involved in any of that pick trade, Kev? You mentioned everybody else. All right. Anything else with the NBA?
No, I just wanted to talk about the lottery, but I think we covered it.
Let's we'll head over to the NHL playoffs. So in the East, Florida and Toronto tied at 2. Game 3 going on right now. Florida's up big. They're up 6-0 in the third. So it looks like Florida.
It's game 6, not game. It's game 5 though. Not.
Yeah, they'll be up 3-2 after this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
it's
tied
2-2. Tied 2-2.
They're up 6-0.
Yep. Washington and Carolina. Carolina's up 3-1 currently. Out west,
they've dominated the last 2 games, 4-0 and 5-2 at home.
Yeah. Yes. Out west, Edmonton is up 3-1, and Dallas is up 3-1 against Winnipeg. Any comments on any of those series, Darren?
Yeah, just a quick one here. It's not that Washington's been really bad. It's just been Carolina's been really good. They're just relentless. They're fast. Their forecheck is outstanding. They put so much pressure on you. And when Anderson's in net, he's really good. That game was 3-2 kind of late. They put the 2 late goals in to make it 5-2. But, Washington's hanging around. They're not as good, Yeah. Carolina is just a very skilled, very fast team. They're annoying to play. Florida, Toronto jumped out 2-0, and then this is what happens to Toronto. They lose. Game 3 went to overtime. They had a chance to go up 3-0. They didn't get it. Marchand got the goal, and the entire series flipped. And now suddenly they're losing at home on home ice by 6 goals in Game 5. It's basically unacceptable. Edmonton, Vegas. Edmonton's been just a little bit better, but this has been chippy. It's kind of been enjoyable to watch if you watch it at all. Edmonton has the overtime win. Vegas won their only game with less than 1 second left. So there's been a lot of excitement with that. Riley Smith put one in. Edmonton responds with Skinner in net in a shutout. I couldn't believe it. Jake?
And Edmonton, if you go back to the first series against the Kings, they lost the first 2 games against the Kings. So they now have rattled off 4 wins against the Kings and now 3 of 4 from Las Vegas. So they've won 7 of their last 8 right now. They're on a little bit of a tear here.
And they have 7 come from behind wins in the playoffs, most in the league. The other one interesting, Dallas, Winnipeg. Dallas won last night. They're up 3-1. I find it interesting for a couple. The hockey's been good. Winnipeg actually controlled the game yesterday, but Ottinger was great. Hellebuck, who had to go up against Bennington in Series 1, now goes up to Dallas, where they chant, Otter is better, because Ottinger was the backup to Hellebuck in the same 4-man series. So it's like one of those things where Hellebuck's going up against all his nemesis, the guy that was behind him for the U.S. team and the guy he had to go up against in Canada. I just find it interesting. But Ottinger's been outstanding. Winnipeg's playing well, but it's not enough. And I just feel like, we're looking at Dallas and Edmonton, which should be a really good series. And you're looking at Carolina and Florida, which should be a real good series. You have 4 really good teams that look like they're going to be the teams that advance in this one, Kevin.
Yep.
All right.
A couple other hockey points, real quick. We didn't mention it last week. Rangers hired Mike Sullivan. we skipped that. We should have mentioned that. And the other thing I'll put in is that Joel Quenneville went to Anaheim this week. So he's back in the coaching game. And one interesting tidbit that involved the Winnipeg Jets. So you guys remember Chris Draper, who played for the Red Wings, correct?
Yes.
In 1993, the Winnipeg Jets traded Chris Draper to Detroit for $1. Draper, best known for the Claude Lemieux hit, I believe, right? I mean, where
I would think so.
Played 1,140 games and won 4 Stanley Cups for $1. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Wow.
That's what I got for hockey. I didn't even think you could trade anybody for $1, but they did.
We're gonna go to baseball, but just an update. About 5 minutes left. The Knicks are basically down 24 at this point, so that's not going very well right now.
They've got the hockey line. Bobrovsky, 58 straight saves. Maple Leafs no goals the last 135 minutes.
Yep.
Wow.
They went into the period 124. Yeah, it's just they can't put the puck in the net, and that's an explosive offensive team. They can't put the puck in the net.
Yep.
All right. Before we get to Yankees Mets, let's talk some baseball stuff that came out. So yesterday, Rob Manfred reinstated Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and a host of other players from the MLB permanently ineligible list. They will be eligible for the next Classic Baseball Era committee vote in December of 2027. And they will be eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame. There were actually 15 others. So it was Rose, Shoeless Joe, and 15 others. This is 36 years after Rose was suspended and then eventually put on in the eligible list. What are your thoughts on this? Let's talk about this for a couple minutes. Kev?
He does not belong in the Hall of Fame. He belongs on the suspended list still. The one golden rule in any athletics: do not bet on the sport. And he not only bet on the sport, he bet on his team. He knowingly bet on his team. He knowingly violated the rules, the sacred rule in baseball, in all sports, I think. And therefore, he should still be paying the price, and to me, should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Before Darren talks, I completely agree with you. There's only one rule, because if you break that rule, you have WWE wrestling.
So do you put that the gambling worse than the steroids?
Yes.
Yes.
So cheating in one way, cheating and gambling, we have a big distinction on.
Here is my distinction.
That's why I'm asking it, because it's a legit question.
Here's my distinction. When you take steroids, you are, if you want to say violating the rules of the game, that's fine. At the time they were doing most of this, it wasn't violating the rules, but let's put that aside for the moment. But you're violating the rules of the game, and you can be suspended. If you are betting on these games, you are changing the outcome of these games. You can change the outcome of these games in one way, shape, or another, which influences the game, not you. You take steroids, you're influencing you. You're changing your performance. You start betting on this game, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. You don't know what he's betting on, who he's betting on.
Especially as a manager.
Especially as a manager. I mean,
I'm going to take one thing of umbrage with what you said. When you're taking steroids and you're cheating, you're affecting the pitcher's stats that you're up against. You're affecting the overall stats of your teammates. You're taking a job away, perhaps, from someone that could have beaten you out. I'm not saying that it's the same egregious thing. I'm just saying that it's not as mild as I think you're making it, because I think it affects a lot of other people. I don't think it just affects the one player. In my opinion, I think that you can have a guy sent down because he just gave up 3 home runs in a game to you. There's a million things that could happen.
So I don't necessarily completely disagree with you, except I do think that there is another level if you're betting on the game. I'm not
disagreeing that it's worse. I'm just saying
but I don't think they're close. I'm going to tell you. Okay, I don't even think the violation of the rules is close in any way, shape, or form. I think it's like if you are taking steroids and if you're betting on baseball. I mean, I don't even think it's close. If you're betting on baseball and the outcome of these games changes in any way, shape, or form because you influence something, you have the WWE. If you take steroids, you do not have the WWE. You have a guy taking steroids, maybe hitting a ball 400 feet when he can only hit the ball 200 feet. But you are not the WWE.
No, but it is a mockery of the sport, and it does change it around.
Oh,
if one guy's playing without something. Now, listen, we can talk about the 70s where they all played on amphetamines and they're all playing on uppers all day long and all that. I understand the whole thing.
You want to go back to Mantle?
I just don't think that I don't have it here and here like you do. And Gino had his arms really wide for those that aren't going to watch.
Very wide.
My arms are a little closer. I think that they're both disgraceful. And the funny part is I think Bonds is a Hall of Famer, and I think he was a Hall of Famer before he did it. But at the same point in time, can you allow it? No.
Scale of 1 to 100, betting on baseball is a 104, and taking steroids is like a 62 to me.
I'd go closer to like 99 and like 80. So I don't have as big a slaughter as you do. I agree with you, though.
I'm more in Darren's ballpark there with the numbers. To me, like I said, the betting, especially if you have proof of it, that's automatic disqualification. That's always been the rule.
So
the steroids.
I'm sorry.
The steroids now, especially when you can be suspended. First offense 80 games, second offense 160 games. And we've seen them the known ones be kept out.
Yep.
So here's the question: Shoeless Joe Jackson.
I know.
Because now listen, none of us are there.
No.
We watched 8 Men Out. You've seen other specials, this, that, and the other thing. His stats during the World Series were outstanding. Does he deserve the same punishment as Rose for knowing his teammates were doing it, not ratting it out? It's the moral dilemma. I can go with you either way on this. I actually think he probably does, but it's really tough because you feel bad for a guy that probably was the only other Hall of Famer on that list besides Rose.
Yeah,
but it's been so long, and we didn't watch him play. I mean, baseball is the best sport in the world because we can go back and look at stats and feel like we know them. We feel like we know who Tris Speaker was. I couldn't describe Tris Speaker if they showed me a picture of him, but I feel like I know who he was. And we all know Hack Wilson drove in 190 runs a year. I couldn't tell you what Hack Wilson looks like. I couldn't tell you what a swing looked like, but we all know that stuff. So stats were always so great. Where do you feel on Joe, Kev? What are your thoughts?
Again, here's where the gray area comes in, that I don't think he's as clear cut and dried as Rose was. We are probably jaded by whatever was in 8 Men Out and some of these other documentaries. We don't know for sure, but everything you hear that maybe he wasn't the smartest guy out there. You've heard things that he was a, for lack of a better word, country bumpkin.
Yep.
Without trying to be disrespectful to him. And maybe he wasn't fully aware of things and this and that. This is stuff you hear for people making excuses for Shoeless Joe. And the fact that this happened now 106 years ago is so hard to judge on that. To me, much more of I could go either way on it. I'd be more inclined to put him in than not. More, like I said, it's a circumstantial thing. It's a feel thing. It's your gut. It's not, to me, as cut and dried as Rose.
G?
I think it is as cut and dry as Rose.
Okay.
You think if you know about it and you don't say anything, you had to do it?
It's the WWE. Listen, if you could tell me
Mountain Land is stopping WWE. Come on, man.
If you know the rest of your team is not, going to try, and you're going to lose that game 9 times out of 10, it's the WWE.
I got you.
What do you think, Darren?
Gino loves this. I'm always a little closer to Kev's opinion than Gino's on it. I would lean no. I mean, I see that you lean yes. I lean slightly no, but I have it closer than you. I have it closer than Gino does.
Yeah.
I just think that, you know what? It's hard. Listen, we see, I'm going to compare it to something that makes absolutely no sense, but does in a certain way. It's like when you see a bad cop out there and the other cops don't rat him out.
The thin blue line, yeah.
Right? The thin blue line stands strong, right? And you all say to yourself, listen, you got to get the bad cops out of there, giving you guys a bad reputation. But there's like a fraternity thing about it, and people don't do it. And you know what? It's not right. It's never right. and yet you understand where they come from somewhat because they don't want to be the one that rocks the cradle. My dog is buffing up a lung apparently. But at the same point in time, I still think that listen, you got caught, they got caught, you're out. I mean, that's kind of where I lean. G.
December 27. Does Rose and Jackson get in, Darren?
I say no to both.
This is what you think, though.
I don't think they're going to get voted in. I don't think they're going to get voted in.
That's what I'm saying. It's not your personal opinion. Now, what do you think they're going to do?
I think they're not going to get in.
Kev?
I would say, especially the first time around, they're not going to get in.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting in either. I have news for you. I don't think they're getting it either. I really don't. And I don't know how that the Classic Baseball Era Committee works. So is it a one and done? If they vote, is it done then? They don't get in? I have no idea. I'm just saying,
yeah.
December 27, I don't think either one of them gets in, to be honest.
I can see it.
All right. Around baseball, Yankees 25-18, Mets 28-15. Judge is still clobbering the shit out of the ball, to be honest. He's,
But let's talk about Brett Beatty. Let's start with the greatest hitter in New York. Let's talk about Brett Beatty, Kevin.
All right, go ahead. Talk about Brett Beatty.
I'm sorry, G. We got to get right to it, I think.
Here's one of my points. Looks like they're going to lose to the Pirates tonight, unfortunately. But they've won 5 of 6. Brett Beatty came up when Winker went on the disabled list, or injured list, I'm sorry. And he's gone 6 for 17, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs in the last 5 games. And won the game last night with his home run in the 7th inning. The kid's always done it in AAA. Hasn't done it yet in the majors. Maybe he's finding it. Who knows? I mean, how many? We keep saying this is his last chance. This is his last chance. Maybe this is finally clicking. Who knows? I mean, he's got to do it for more than 5 games.
No,
but I thought was interesting. I know he's been playing better in general, but Beatty got hot. Vientos got benched for a day or two. Mendoza said basically, we benched him. He needs to get going. And all of a sudden, he's 7 for his last 15 going into today too. So I think that's helped both players. Beatty playing well, and I think that's pushing Vientos, even though he needs to make sure his glove is a little tighter. If you saw last night's play, that the ball goes right through the webbing of the glove late. But I mean, they're playing well. They've won 5 of 6, like I said, and gearing up for the Subway Series this weekend.
Yeah. Well, okay. I talked to a lot of Met fans that just don't shut up, and it's very funny how they're comparing May to the World Series right now. And I'm not saying the Mets can't get there or be there, but the fact of the matter is, and we're going to talk about the Yankees in a second, right, G? The gauntlet in the National League is just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the Mets might be the best or second best team in the league right now with the Dodgers right there. But I mean, just talking about the Cubs is tough. And the Phillies are still a team to beat. The Padres are competitive. The Giants are competitive. The D-backs, if they get their rotation in order, can beat anybody. That freaking league is brutal. The Yankees don't have the same gauntlet to go through. They just don't. Detroit, okay. Well, gee, are you petrified if you play Detroit in the playoffs right now?
No. Cleveland, no. Kansas City, no. Seattle, no.
Could they all beat us? Absolutely. They could all beat the Yankees, no doubt about it. But you have no fear. The Mets go into every one of the series I just mentioned with the weaker starting rotation. That's the scary part. They have the weaker starting rotation against Philly, against San Diego, even without Musgrove and Darvish right now. Dodgers, even with Sasaki on the IL. The Cubs is probably closest, but the Cubs starting pitching, I think, is a little bit better. And the Diamondbacks are clearly better. I mean, it's a goal. I think the Mets lineup could play with any of them and probably be better than most of them, if not all of them. But they go in with the weakest starting rotation. That doesn't mean Kodai Senga can't go out there and throw a 2-hit shutout. Well, 2 hits over 5 2/3 to 6 innings. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm not trying to be funny with that, but it's just a fact. He's not going 7. But, if Reed Garrett keeps pitching and stuff like that, it's great. But the loss of Minter, would be the biggest
big
loss right now when I look at this team because they look so complete. Griffin Canning is pitching like we never saw him pitch at the Angels. This clinic is working. They know exactly when to throw a pitch and where to throw it. It's unbelievable, these guys. But, I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but not really because it's working.
Especially for those 80 or 90 pitches and 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 that the star's allowed to throw. We're good.
Well, the only other good thing happening for you, Kev, is Minaya hasn't pitched yet. So when he comes back, he won't be as tired in October.
That's really what I'm hoping.
It's a slight plus.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, Judge is Judge. I mean, he's just a little under, is a shade over 400, just a shade under 500 on base percentage. Hit the game winner tonight after Goldschmidt hit the game tire tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, in Seattle. Again, they're finding a way to win most series. 2 out of 3 against Seattle, and Seattle's a nice little win. Now we get the Subway Series this weekend in the Bronx. Last year, the Mets owned the Yankees, so we'll see what happens this year. They might do it again. We're going to find out. But Fried has been unreal. Rodon has been excellent.
Well, you never know what's going to happen because Oswaldo Cabrera went down with a fractured ankle, and you know who took his spot on the roster, Kev?
DJ.
My favorite Yankee.
This team needs to, this team needs to find a way to, to get a third baseman in here. But the fact is that the Cardinals have now gotten hot, and Arenado is part of a playoff team, so he ain't going anywhere right now. We got to see what something happens with them. But really, I would agree with that. Really cool the way these two teams are playing right now. They both look like they should be in contention all the way through to win their divisions.
Okay. All right, let's head over. We'll talk a little. Go ahead, Kev.
I got a couple more notes here.
Too, but I'll let you go first, Kev.
The one you probably have: the Rockies fired Bud Black after losing 21-0 to the Chargers. I mean the Padres on Saturday night. They let him manage Sunday. He got a win in his finale. The Rockies are 7-35. They've had 3 different losing streaks of 8 games. They're just a mess. Twins have won 10 in a row now, and they're still in 4th place because the AL Central all of a sudden doesn't look that bad. I know you talked about the teams maybe not scaring you, but they've got 4 teams that are above 500. Yep. Much better and much more competitive than we thought before the season. And you already mentioned the rookie Sasaki to the DL. And here's my old man yelling at the clouds rant.
Okay.
Over the weekend, Binghamton Rumble Ponies were playing a doubleheader. 7-inning game, right? Minor league rules.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah Tong for the Rumble Ponies. One of the Mets' really good young pitching prospects. He went 6 2/3 perfect. 99 pitches. Go to the bullpen. He hit his pitch count.
That's so ridiculous.
Let the kid have one more damn batter. Let him try for the perfect game.
It's one more batter.
99 and 104 pitches. Is he got an all-time Tommy John? Everybody has Tommy John surgery anyway. Let the kid have a chance to get a perfect game.
You know when they didn't have much Tommy John surgery, Kev? When they let people pitch. Anyway, I'm being honest. They just didn't have it as much.
I agree.
I know it's Double-A. I know it's only minor leagues, but don't you let the kid have a chance to pitch a perfect game?
The kid deserved it. It's not even about the fans or anything like that. The kid deserved it. The fans did too, by the way, that were at the game, but the kid deserved it.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Really
terrible.
Is.
The manager was told, no, you're taking him out.
So one the baseball stat of the week, not Tony Gwynn related. I went with Stan the Man this week. Did you know that Stan the Man Musial finished his career with 3,630 hits? He had 1,815 at home and 1,815 on the road. I just think that's amazing. I'd seen the stat before, popped up. I was like, I'll use that this week. College baseball, Kev, I'm sorry to do this to you. You don't see this in the SEC very often. Auburn, 24, South Carolina, 2. Auburn scored 24 runs in the first 5 innings of that game. Usually you don't see that in a very competitive SEC. Just something that had to be pointed out, but it just a surprise to me. And that's what I have in baseball, boys.
And did you know, a little trivia, did you know Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is actually related to Ralph Kiner?
I did not know that.
They brought up last night because they had Kiner's one of Kiner's relatives there met Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. First time he's met one of the Kiner relatives there. He is the second cousin twice removed on his mother's side.
Who is it?
So just one of those little things that you go, wow, IKF playing for his.
By the way, second cousin twice removed on his mother's side. That could also be me. So, you know.
But, Kiner's playing for Kiner's old team.
Wow.
And there you go. Where Ralph was a star.
Yep.
This Thursday starts the 107th PGA Championship, Quail Hollow Golf Course behind Darren. Charlotte, North Carolina. Scotty Scheffler, favorite on the board right now. Him, Rory, DeChambeau are the only golfers that are in negative betting territory for a top 10 finish. Kev, any thoughts on the golf?
7,626 yards, one of the longest courses on the PGA Tour. Rainy weather, going to play a lot longer. Expect the big hitters to have the advantage, obviously, in these types of conditions. It's going to be Rory. It's going to be Bryson. Got to have Scotty in there. Schauffele can hit it a ton. Oberg can hit it a ton. Justin Thomas is playing real well. Not that he's at the biggest driver, but he can still put it out there pretty good. So to me, I'm looking for some big drivers to do well.
Okay,
Darren.
Yeah. So one of the Rory's won here 4 times, so he likes it. He was always one of the guys that was able to outdrive the bunkers out there in the fairways. I'm trying to remember which golfer it was. I think it was Hunter Mahan. I'm just saying, this is one of those courses that is really long and has no charm to it whatsoever. And that's kind of what it is. He's like, basically, it's very forgiving. You can miss hit and still score on this course. So it's going to be one of those majors that Gino hates, because we're going to see a lot of players in the red this week, I think. And yeah, the big hitters are going to have the advantage. Even a guy like Koepka could kind of turn it around if he can just keep his head on straight a little bit. Victor Hovland. I mean, there are certain guys I think that can go that can play really well here. I agree with you on Oberg, or as my friend Gino would say, Aberg. But I think that it's Rory and Scotty are the guys to watch here right now.
All right. Well, like I always say, take a couple of golfers. If you're putting money on it, bet them to finish in the top 10. You could spread some money out, $20. Maybe you put $5 on 4 golfers. If you hit 1, you probably get your money back. If you hit 2, you probably make a little money. That's usually what I like. I got a couple of combinations I like. Kev?
I've got a couple. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm taking 2 golfers in a parlay to finish in the top 10. Rahm and Schauffele at plus 600. Oberg and Justin Thomas plus 752. I'm going to go really close to the favorite line now and take DeChambeau and Scheffler to both finish in the top 10 plus 175. And then here is a 4 golfer parlay to finish in the top 10. Kev, Darren, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau plus 1,058. Bet $10 to win 105. It's not the worst bet in the world, I'll tell you right now. Kev, what do you got?
2 long shots that I think have a real good chance here. Former major winner Wyndham Clark, 18th in the tour in driving average. He's plus 10,000. And the fourth player in driving average, young player. We started seeing him appear in some of the majors. Making an appearance here and there on the leaderboard. Min-Woo Lee from Australia is plus 9,000. You want him top 10? He's plus 550. I think he's at least a top 10 player this year because of the length off the tee he has. That's going to be my dark horse this year.
Wyndham Clark, by the way, plus 600, top 10.
Yep.
I like that too. That's not bad, Kev.
I like Hovland. I like Terrell Hatton. These are 2 guys I'm looking at right now. A guy off the pace, Sam Burns would be a guy I would look at. His driving is it's not the longest. But he's out there pretty good. And I'm putting Koepka in because I think he's getting very underbet in this. And if he's able to get a hold of anything, those would be my 4 long shots. The guy I think that wins the tournament, I think it's going to be Oberg. I think Oberg finds a way to get out on top in this one.
Top 10, by the way, Darren. Hatton plus 320, Burns plus 650. So that's some good numbers if you're trying to get top 10 finishes out of these guys.
I'm going to try.
Starts Thursday and Sunday as usual. Should be very, very interesting. All right, let's move over to horse racing because the 150th running of the Preakness is Saturday, Pimlico Racetrack in Maryland. We all know that Sovereignty is not running, the winner of the Derby. Darren, why don't you talk to us about a little horse racing?
We got a little 9-horse field. First, to clear up last week's dilemma. Gino correct. The Saratoga Belmont is 1.25 miles. Still a long stretch, but it's still only 1.25 miles. So Gino correct. 9-horse field. Favorite going to be Journalism. He's got the 2 spot, 8-5 right now. Rispoli and McCarthy. Again, horse ran well in the Derby. Was just beaten by a better horse that day. The 1 is goal oriented, 6-1. This horse is 2 for 2 lifetime, and coming off an allowance win that has everybody all excited from 2 weeks ago. Also broke his maiden. You get Pratt and you get Baffert. So it's not a bad little combination up there. The 3-horse American Promise ran in the Derby. 15-1. You get Nick Juarez and you get Dwayne Lucas at 89 years young, trying to get this horse going. This will be a speed horse that needs to get out in front, as does the 1, by the way. Both speed horses in this race.
Just a point. Yes. American Promise, Justify's son, and Lucas won the Preakness last year with Seas of the Gray.
He certainly did. You're 100% right. The 4 is the only horse I really don't have any speed numbers. I don't know where the horse rates because it didn't race here. But you get Heart of Honor, Saffie Osborne riding for her father. This horse finished second in the UAE Derby, but the horse that won the UAE Derby, Fast Daytona, was awful in the Kentucky Derby. So don't really know why the 4 is in this, but Saffie running for her dad. The 5 is the Maryland horse. Okay, you get Pay Billy. You get Mina and Gorham, 2-time stakes winners, won 4 out of 5. The numbers aren't great though. He'd have to step up tremendously to win this match, based on where his buyers are, okay? River Timms, who qualified for... I'm sorry, Kev.
I was going to say, Gorham with 14,000 races, and this is his first Preakness?
Yes, it is. It's a great point. I forgot to even write it down, but I did read that. That's great. River Timms, 9-2. You get Irad and you get Pletcher, okay? This is a speed horse that the question is, can he get the distance, okay? Lost by a nose to Sovereignty in the Fountain of Youth. Lost by 3/4 in the Bluegrass as well. It's going to be if this horse can stretch out a little bit right now. He's 9-2. Kev?
Pletcher has never won the Preakness.
No, he is not.
About the only major race he has never won.
He's never won this one. And, it's surprising because he's won so much. You get the 7 Sandman, who was overbet tremendously at the Derby, but finished 7th. Velasquez and Cassie. This is a dead close. This horse will be last without 19 horses to go through, 18 horses to go through. That was in the Derby. Make it a little easier. The other newer horse that everybody's all over is the 8, Clever Again. You get Jose Ortiz and Asmussen. Okay, this horse has won the last 2, a maiden special weight, and it won the Hot Springs in Arkansas. Hot Springs Stakes is an ungraded stakes, so it's not the best field you're ever going to see. This horse should be stalking, but has the second best buyer figure in the field. Had a 101 a couple races back. So this is a horse that certainly has the ability. And the 9, Gosger. You get Saez and Walsh. This horse is 2 for 2 this year, including winning the Lexington. Only problem is the Lexington wasn't really very good. But at the same time, this is another horse that should be just off the pace. I wouldn't call him a stalker. I'd call him kind of like the mid-pack horse here. So these are the 9. Again, if you just want to know who's going to be running out in front, Gino, you're going to have the 1 getting out. You're going to get the 3 getting out. You're going to try to have the 6 getting out, and you're going to try to have the 8 getting out. Okay, those are the 4 that should be up there. The 9 should be close. Those would be the 5 horses that get out. I have no idea what the 4 is going to do. The 7 is going to be coming from the clouds. and then basically the 5 and the 2 should be somewhere just in front of that 7. So Gino, who's the pick for this year's Preakness?
All right, so I've been looking at goal-oriented, the one. I think Baffert's going to win one of these. He didn't win the Derby. I think he's going to win one of these. I like the 6, River Thames, without going near the favorite. Those are the 2 horses I kind of like. What I'll probably do is, here you go. We're going to get a little exotic, Kev.
I love it.
I'll probably bet a trifecta. I'll key the 1 and 6 for 1 and 2. And I'll key the 7 horse and the 2 horse, Journalism and Sandman, for 3rd. If I'm doing an exacta, I'll probably do the 1-6. Goal-oriented, River Thames.
Kev, where you going, pal?
I'm going favorite this time. Assuming you can bounce back from the Derby, okay. Journalism lost the Derby because he had a far worse trip than Sovereignty. I'll always believe that. Sovereignty had everything break right for him. Journalism got caught in all that traffic and still had his head in front in the stretch. I think he is clearly the best horse in this field. For the 2-hole, he'll settle in. He can find his spot. Probably just off the pace a little bit. He'll let some of these other speed horses go, and he'll find his way down the stretch and get out in front and pull away and win this race, I think, fairly easily. Sandman, like you said, I think there's enough pace that Sandman will close and pass all these horses to get to 2nd. I know it's the 2 favorites in order right now. And
how
3rd,
am I making money, Kev? How am I making money?
Don't you making any money?
Not making money on the 2-8, I'll tell you right now.
Well,
2-7.
2-7 he's got.
2-7, excuse me.
And then 3rd, I think I'm gonna throw D Wayne in there. I'll throw American Promise in there for 3rd.
Okay.
Like I said, I think the speed. I think there's enough speed up front. I think they will fall apart down the stretch.
That's who I was liking, by the way. I was liking American Promise, and I read something today that he doesn't like. He doesn't like the bad track. He doesn't like all the mud, and there's going to be a lot of rain going on. So, kind of swayed away from the American Promise. But that's who I was actually on for the last couple of days. Darren?
Well, I've been on Journalism for about 3 months. I'm going to stay there.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay Journalism on top. I also agree with you a little bit, Gino. I like River Thames to be the speed horse that holds up. I'm going to take a horse that coming out of the clouds a little. I'm going to take 9, the 9 Gosker, the close for 3rd, and the other horse I kind of look at is Pay Billy. I think he has got a shot to get into the money too. So those horses will be in my exotics, and I'm sure I'll throw 8 in there as well. But I'm going to say the 9 grabs 3rd in this one. But it should be exciting.
Yep.
All right. Next up on our little agenda list, going around the world of sports, NFL schedule got released. So we won't go too deep. I'll give you some big points that hit. So Eagles will host Dallas the first game. The Thanksgiving tripleheader will feature Green Bay at Detroit, Kansas City at Dallas, Cincinnati at Baltimore. The Christmas tripleheader will feature Dallas at Washington, Detroit at Minnesota, and Denver at KC. Jets, not 1:00 games, will be week 4, Miami on Monday night. Week 6, Denver in London. And week 11, Thursday night against New England. What came out was when they ran them through the machine, the Giants wound up with the toughest schedule. They get the AFC West and the NFC North in addition to their conference, their division. San Francisco is the easiest overall schedule. New England had the easiest AFC schedule. Overseas games, they're playing in Sao Paulo, Dublin, London, Berlin, and Madrid this year, Darren. 5 different countries.
Don't even get me started.
I won't go through
Friday night, Chargers, Chiefs, first week. Nobody wants to see it. Last year, you had Love getting hurt. Why are you going to go back there?
I won't go through all the teams that are playing, but
Minnesota has 2 in a row, I think, right? They stay there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go.
I'm sorry.
That's right. The only team that's playing 2 games overseas is Minnesota.
In 2 different countries.
In 2 different countries, Dublin and London. And the first game it's a TBA right now. They know the Chargers are playing in Sao Paulo, but we don't know who else yet.
No, they're playing the Chiefs.
They are? Okay.
Yep.
Because the last I saw
because we're not going to see the Chiefs enough, because you're going to see them on Thanksgiving, you're going to see them on Christmas. Let's make sure we see them in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, well, going to see them every time, anywhere, any place.
I'm sure Taylor Swift will book a concert and they'll make a big deal about it.
Okay.
Jets open up at home against Pittsburgh. Guys? Jets open up at home against Pittsburgh. Giants open up at Washington. So, listen, this is going to be a year for us, Kev, where we're going to see a lot of 1 o'clock Jet games. I'm fine with it. I'm good.
13 of the 16 announced are Sunday 1.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see, and that's okay.
Like I said, opening it up against Pittsburgh in case it's Fields versus Rodgers.
That's the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah. And you know what? After the last couple of years, it's good to see the Jets just sort of take a backseat. Let the other teams have the other crap.
Exactly. End the season against Buffalo. They open up with 2 at home. The Giants, like we said, open up in Washington. Gino's nervous about that. He knows Jackson Dart's not going to play, but he thinks he should. There's a lot going on there. Washington has a couple of primetime games as well. So you'll see Washington in primetime a lot this year, pal.
Yeah, I know. I saw that when I was looking. They're playing in primetime plenty.
No, that's a good thing, though, because people want to see Daniels. People want to see him.
Agreed.
The problem is opening Monday night of the season, Minnesota, Chicago. So they're planning on making the Bears still a spotlight kind of team to kick off the year. And then Sunday night, opening night of the season, is Baltimore at Buffalo. So that's the game of the weekend, probably, to me. More so than Kansas City, LA Chargers, and Dallas playing against Philly. I think that you get Baltimore at Buffalo on Sunday night. That's a good way to end the first week of the NFL season, in my opinion. Any other points, boys?
No. Anything else, guys?
What was one other NFL point that I read this week that I thought was pretty funny? Pete Carroll, when he used to coach Seattle, used to put the Rams up when they came up in a hotel where there were furry conventions on purpose. So he'd make them be in the furry convention. I thought that was pretty good. That's my last point. Do you guys have anything before we wrap it?
No.
All right. We are the Sports Kings from Queens. I'm Darren, here with Kevin, here with Gino. Talking about the wonderful, wild, and wacky world of sports. A wacky world where the Knicks win an improbable game 4, and then a game 5, and then really, 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 really. I'm sorry. Don't show up for game 5. They win an improbable game 4. Don't show up for game 5. I don't know how the hell that happens. Hopefully Brunson fouled out, so it looks like his ankle is okay. We'll see what happens. Please download the podcast anywhere you get a podcast, whether it be an Apple product, Spotify, tune in, whatever you like. We will posting a lot on social. Please like, share, be a part of it. Tell us what you want more of. And without any further ado, may your sports be with you.